see this setup. This is awesome. Dude,
What, the background?
Dude, is
Thank
that
you.
real?
No, it's not. Now, I own everything behind me, but then I just made Gemini make the background and have a green screen.
How,
Now.
like, it looks so real. Like, I've seen The Office. It looks almost the same.
Yeah, exactly. But I just have to worry about being messy. It's a very nice combination.
Yeah, I really like it. How are we?
Thanks. I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, I hear you hired and you found like a new engineer. I want to spend some time talking to you about hiring and like this moment in the company because it's quite pivotal as you gear up to like in the next couple of years, like go on multiple raises and grow and skyrocket as we've both talked about what that looks like. You've gone through and hired the right person or who you believes the right person at this moment in time. Like I want to talk a little bit about that hiring process and how difficult or easy it was for you.
Sure. Okay.
First and foremost, like was it hard finding the right talent? Just because we're in this sort of not talent exodus, but we want to get the right person that's going to move the needle in the company, especially at the stage you're at.
Yeah. I feel like hiring for early stage startups is always really difficult because you have a little bit of hiring budgets. Like you only get a small amount of people to work with you, and there's always a lot of pressure to get those people right. And you have all the experiences you learned from like your previous hires. So I'd say it was generally very hard, although I'd say this time we got a bit lucky, so it took less time than we expected, thankfully.
What are you looking for typically? Someone that's high agency? Is it someone that like deeply understands the specific problem that you're solving, or is it just a generalist?
I think it depends on the person you ask. I think for me, like you always have the more like personality aspects and you have the more technical ones. Now, I usually make sure my co-founder is the one that signs off on the technical ones often, but for the personality ones, agency I think is just like a standard for a startup. Typically, you should always look for that. The two things I usually like ask about is I'm looking for highly opinionated people, so people that have an opinion and want to share it out of desire to solve the problem in the best way. I think people that are used to kind of the bureaucracy or hierarchy of traditional companies struggle with that a lot. And then the second one, I guess, actually ends up being high agency of like, no, that's not my job attitude. I think that one's quite critical. I think it's good if they have relevant experience. I think I would rather a strong generalist than a weak specific knowledge person. But it depends on like, you can unpack those two words so much. Like you can unpack them so much. In the case of our newest hire, he had both. He was very strong technically and he had really relevant experience. That's why we were lucky in this one time. Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going, but I'll wait for you to prod more.
This is interesting because it's like you found the right person at the right time. Why were they the right fit today?
You know, it's funny. So we had met one of the other founding engineers, Nick. We met him at a YC startup school event.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, back in like January. And we happened to also meet the guy we just hired, Mo, at the same event. But he just, actually, I didn't know what he was up to at the time. He was just asking a lot of questions and he ended up disappearing into the sunset. He ended up starting a company that was a competitor to Querio. So he was a CTO of a competing company. And for a lot of reasons, he was looking for his like next thing. And so I ended up having known him for a long time, known he was technically competent. He's a founder, which is always great to hire. He had direct experience in the domain that we were building in. He built a competing product. Exactly. So he was able to hit the ground running from day one, super quick. And so I think we were lucky in that someone we already knew, he actually reached out to us, who was already in the domain, who built a competing product, wanted to join. And so I think, yeah, very lucky. Was not premeditated.
Did you, when you hired Mo, did you see the pillars that you've got across, like outside of you and Harvey, in these great talents that sit inside of the company as like, these are the people that we're going to work with as we grow and are going to be part of that growth stage?
All right, wait, explain that again.
So
what do you mean?
You're teed up, ready to start scaling, right, over the next coming years, and we're going to go on an absolute tear with Querio. We both know that because it's an incredible product.
Of course.
When you look at the talent that you've got inside of the company currently, do you look at them and say, hey, like this is our core group? as we add more people in, as we bring more people on, it's this group that's going to help us grow massively.
Yeah. I think you can look at them all individually and think that. I think it's hard to know that until you see the dynamic of a full team together. But yeah, I think not that people we worked with before like weren't great, but something about Mo, at least so far, has made me feel that like 10x. Like it just feels right. It feels like we have all the pieces and the dynamic together to make it happen.
Go
And I'm
win a
like
couple Super
very,
Bowls.
yeah, like I'm very like proud and humbled at the same time that these group of people decided to work on the same thing with me. It's very nice.
Why did Mo join? What did you say to him that like made it click? Not
I'm
why
not
did you
sure.
not why did you say yes to Mo, but why did Mo say yes to you?
I've been trying to get that answer out of him a lot. He wrote a blog post. It's actually already up on our website about his like transition from founder to founding engineer, which I think people should give that. You can some mate, that's nice. Which I think people should give a listen to. I think what probably pushed him over the edge is like coming from a founder perspective. I think you look for some things that you wish you had in your old, like when you started something. I think you have a good litmus test, at least from his end, of like how did the founders, behave themselves? What have they done so far? How have they faced? How did they deal with the same challenges I faced? And I think you can get a lot of respect from other founders who have looked down the same barrel as you and have respected the decisions you've taken at the time. So I think because he could relate to a lot of the problems we have faced, and he's seen us beat them, right? He's seen us raise, he's seen us close customers, seen us build a very like difficult product. He tested it and all those things, and he saw the competency of the team. I think a combination of just seeing the juxtaposition of like the competency of us and how we've handled the same problems he has, I think was very motivating for him to come work with us. I'm sure he's going to end up starting his own thing in the future at some point. Like people have that bug, they have that bug. Yeah.
What's hard for Querio right now?
Oof, what's not hard for a company right now? Hiring is always hard. If we didn't hire soon, that's going to be hard, and we're always hiring. So any founding engineers who get excited by this, please let us know. Or some sort of like go-to-market guru, but be much more picky with that. I think Querio's biggest problem right now is probably top of funnel. Yeah, I think as we're amping up for a raise in Q1, and I think you want to be on your best foot forward. So it's really crunch time to close as many sales as we can over the next 3 months. And the more we do, the better our raise is going to go, the better valuation we're going to get. So that's our utmost focus. I think at least engineering and product wise, there's a lot of work to do, but it feels quite clear and straightforward of like what we're doing next. I think we know what our customers want. I think we hear what the market wants, which is really nice. And now we just got to amp up more and more on the go-to-market side to just really raise the next round and then really scale up going into the rest of the next year.
As the models have got better, one of the things that I wanted to ask you, because like we have such a close relationship, is that like, have you seen Querio get better as the models have gotten better? Or is it just your ability to build the scaffolding around the models that has allowed Querio to be a better product?
No, it's both. It's both. It's definitely both. I think.
But it's not a 50-50 split, is it?
No, I'd say it's not 50-50, but it's also not like it oscillates. So right now it's gone back to scaffolding. The last 6 months I felt very model driven. So it always switches up in the sense. I think Sama, don't love the guy, but he did say something nice, which is like, you're building a good product in the space if you improve with every model that comes out, versus only needing scaffolding. So I think a combination of both is really important. I think in the early days, the scaffolding was really important when the limitations were a lot higher. Now we do a lot of data analytics, and especially around like Texas SQL, and that's largely a solved problem, like with the right scaffolding. Then there's a lot more other layers to building a data platform. So I think, it went from the models not being well enough needed scaffolding to the models lifting a lot of heavy weight, and now we're redoing things again, going back to the scaffolding. And it's good that we can do both.
When we had a conversation like 6 months ago, we had that deep dive hour and a half conversation. We were not in the early stages of text to SQL, but you were sort of like building out that scaffolding. It's gone incredibly well, as you've just mentioned, right? The fun bit of this is the fact that I get to ask you, has it really changed a lot, or have you just got better at selling?
What? The product?
The product.
So I've gotten much better at selling. What's funny is that we've spent the summer pretty much deleting like a year and a half of, not deleting a year and a half of work, but like we rebuilt the product, or the team rebuilt the product from scratch, um, absolutely from scratch. So all the good things we had done, like we learned a lot, and just the code base had gotten a bit heavy, crowded, harder to work with. Some things that we wish we did differently in hindsight. And so during kind of the lull of the summer, we decided to rebuild everything. So I'm going to be selling something. It's going to have a lot of the same functionality. It's going to have a couple of new features, but it's just going to feel a bit different, a lot snappier. And it's also going to open up our new roadmap into next year because we put all the effort into like kind of refactoring and rebuilding things from scratch. So I think definitely gotten better at selling the current product that's existed as it has been for the last year with improvements. And then I think it's really exciting because over the next 6 months, we have like kind of this whole new system coming up, which is going to let us, like our product velocity is about to shoot up the roof. We're going to be able to release a lot of things very quickly with how we've designed things now. So combination of hopefully in the next like 3 months of like, okay, now we're going to have a ton of features coming out every week, and I get to combine the new selling skills with a product that is massively better than it was like 6 months prior.
When you look downstream, or you look down the line, sorry, not downstream, down the line, in the next 2 to 5 years, what do you think the major blocker is for Querio?
It's hard to think that way. I think I'm one of those people that always looks like an 18-month horizon. I feel like you're
Is
always as
that
good
is
as your
that
next.
what you're on? Is that the horizon that you're on?
Yeah, I think you're always as good as your next 18 months. So that's like the timeline I think about. I think especially this early, like the 2 to 5 range, is a bit hard to plan out. For me, it's like how can we thrive the next 18 months? Do we
Is
need
that
funding?
because
Do we
of the
need?
speed you move at?
It just feels the right combination of healthy foresight and like control over execution. I don't think I have too much. I don't think I can do something today that'll have a large impact in 2 to 5 years. And speed is part of it because you can always redirect whatever it is. But 18 months is a really good horizon of like you have to do a lot in 18 months to get to the next stage of a startup. You can say like they usually like SaaS is usually moving like 18-month sprints. Like you don't have to raise runway for 18 months, but like you should be able to incrementally figure out something new, whether it's a product, whether it's a market, whether it's a go-to-market like mechanism, and really iterate on it, and then be at a whole different place every 18 months, and that's how you survive. Until you get maybe to like Series C, D, when you can think of longer horizons. I think the healthiest thing for someone to do as a founder is look at the next year and a half and make sure you crush that year and a half, because that's really all you're going to get. Even if you raise 2 years of runway, like you're going to be 18 months in, having not done anything, and then you have 6 months left. Like no. So I think that what's best for the company in the long term is focusing on the controllable foresight, which for me is an 18-month horizon.
I know you're a big fan of Palantir's CEO, and he obviously he didn't coin the term forward deployed engineer, but it's what they do a lot at Palantir, right? And sort of everyone has copied that model, etc. Do you take learnings from him and the way that they run that company and try and apply them into Querio?
Yeah, I think I take learnings from him whenever I'm dealing with larger enterprises. I think that's where his experience and the way that they do business is very relevant. I think for the majority of our customers and the business we're dealing with today, I don't. But I think, I think in terms of like FDEs, I think they're really, really useful. I think it's a fantastic kind of like unique selling point for a lot of businesses, and I think they really like it. I think it's a very valuable and a very powerful value prop, but it's specific. I don't like taking kind of broad stroked, like, okay, this worked for one person, let's all just do it always. Like, no, it doesn't make economic sense a lot of the time. Like you need a very complex organization with a lot of complex processes, with a product that is malleable enough, with the budget from the deal to even have someone deployed full time. It's a very like unique environment that supports that economics. But I one thing I do like is I don't shy away from, I think there was a big movement where startups were all for like productize everything. Everything's a software. Don't do services, no manual things. So I think one thing I did take is like there is a degree of services that is really nice to offer as a startup.
What does that look
Something
like
a bit
today for you?
Today, whenever we're working with like smaller companies, and even though it's not a permanently like forward deployed engineer, like we get very involved with our customers' kind of like data strategies, whether that's we're helping them maybe centralize it sometimes in the rare occasions, whether we're helping them like figure out the right questions to ask, helping them set up maybe their first few like key dashboards with all their major KPIs to run their business better. I think the questions to ask can be quite hard to know. and I think getting like some really good kind of like mission control databases can be a bit difficult for people. So I think, you know, we put an extra effort with our customers to get them really set up really quickly, help our champions look really good internally, help them expand it internally, help everyone, you know, give them a lot of visibility of like, hey, this guy bought Querio and they're making you guys like way more efficient and you should be aware of this, you know? So yeah.
Where did you figure out what those learnings were? Like what those questions were? Was it your time at Amazon, or is it just deeply understanding Querio and the questions that have to be asked?
You know, it's funny. So we're quite like a horizontal product. We don't have a specific industry we deal with a lot. I think it is diversity of experience within the team combined with just like first principles thinking. I think when you think a lot in data, you think about correlations, you think about something has to affect something else, you think about the order of operations for processes, you think about general error rates and conversions. Like I think a lot of things can be quite translative between like different topics. So I think a combination of domain expertise and just being able to think in like a statistically significant way, like something happened up or down. What's our best guess of the factors that might affect it? How do we check the correlations of those things? Can we find something new that we didn't realize before that directly impacts this metric that we care about? I think just going through that exercise with people is really nice. And yeah.
Does the team sit there and sort of like get together in huddles and sort of like answer these questions together? Is there some weird thing that you do at Querio that you do that like other people don't?
Well, I'm sure other people do, so I'm not sure something weird that we do that they don't. Does the team sit there and like huddle? Sometimes. I think it's not that everyone's really opinionated about what they think would be best for a customer. I think that's something really weird. Like, it's really healthy for us to have like this culture where we're always thinking about what would they want, and like someone's like, oh, I saw this customer do that. Well, I saw this other one do that. Well, I saw this person do that, and so everyone's like looking through how the product's being used. Everyone's really plugged into the questions being asked. In terms of like setting up their metrics, that's not really a group discussion per se, but I think all the engineers and the whole team, the designer, even is like very involved with what people are doing with this product, and they've slowly also with us gained like a really broad understanding of how people deal with their data. Really, everything from like CSMs to product people to CEOs to ops people to sales people, like everyone just has this different problems. A lot of times the same problems, and there's a lot of like rhyming in their problem sets that we can uniquely see because of it. But yeah, it's very nice having a very customer focused team. It's funny.
How do you manage?
It's funny, like everyone like pulling their favorite, like they pull out their favorite customer. Like I saw them do this. I think they would like that. It's funny. How do we what?
How do you manage a very opinionated team? It's actually one of the similarities to Palantir, where their CEO would talk about how like he has the innate ability to manage very highly opinionated, high agency individuals. How do you do it?
One, you let them have their opinions and you let disagreement happen in the open. There's a lot of passionate conversations that happen in the office all the time of like, I think this is right and I think that is right. I think one of the precursors for a highly opinionated team is having a team that respects each other. So everyone should feel like they have an intellectual sparring partner, that they respect the opinions of others, that at the end of the day, they know that these people are highly competent just like them, and their opinion is likely grounded in a thought process that they can follow. I think once you come to the realization, like you think something, I know you're smart, you think something I don't, or you think something I disagree with, there is a desire to like walk me through how your head got there, because your head's good and you should agree with me because I think my head's good too. So I think that's really nice. So yeah, open discussion in the open, let things get passionate, let things take long to discuss. Sometimes you don't have to always move to like end things quickly, while building a team culture where people feel like they're working with people of their equals, or in some, and ideally in some ways they all have some things that are better than the others in different ways. Because yeah, I think you'll feel exhausted arguing with somebody who you don't think has an opinion you respect.
Agreed. How important is the in-person over remote? I know your team's spread over continents right now and you're looking to bring them all into one place, but
yeah, one more person abroad. Yeah.
Do you feel that being in person will significantly ramp up the speed you're able to operate at?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in the first, at least like definitely like the first 4 years being a majority, if not entirely, in-person team. I think it's where the opinions come out. I think it makes it a lot easier to work. I think there's a lot of discussions coming into play. I think we have a very horizontal company structure where it's really important that everyone is having a lot of ownership over the company, or what we're doing, what we're building, the architecture, how we're dealing with customers, all those things. And it's much more organic and natural to deal with it in person and has a lot less friction. If it was a bottom down organization where everyone just had to kind of do their tasks async, I think that can work. But I'm in a place where like a lot of the team has skills that I don't, or like my co-founder don't. And everyone has different things we need to bring together. So like it's really important we collaborate live in person all the time, that we can just turn a shoulder, that we can like develop a really close, cohesive like team dynamic, that I'm able to rally the team by being here a long time and with them. And they can hear me on my sales calls, and they can hear me just like very motivating hearing like everyone work together and feeling like you're not you're not carrying the weight of everyone else. Yeah.
I like it. Look, as we get into the end game and like I get to do a fun lightning round. I don't think I've ever asked you these questions before. One of the things it's sort of like a flavor of a lightning round. He's ready.
Go on.
One of the things that I love to ask guests on the show and founders on the show is like, who's on your Mount Rushmore of founders? For you, who are they?
Mount Rushmore.
Like right now, it changes over time, right? Like as your opinions change, as the company changes, as you get exposed to more and more. But right now, who's on your Mount Rushmore?
I remember some of their last names. I have been really into founders who, like me, are entering traditional spaces with new products and are winning in them.
Mm-hmm.
So one person I can think of is like Patrick Thompson. He started a tool we use called Clarify. He's a CRM. So getting into the CRM space and being able to raise a Series A is really impressive to me. Another founder, his name is, I think, Ayush Sharma. He has a company called Warp. He's building a payroll and HR company akin to Deal and Rippling, just raised a Series A. I think I'm having a lot of respect for founders who, like me, are fighting in very, very competitive spaces and winning. And they have like these big conglomerates behind them that they are able to cut through the noise, because there's a lot of payroll and HR companies. There's a lot of CRMs. That is a grindy company.
What have they figured out and done well?
It depends. It depends on the company. You have one other person I say is Cyrus Shirazi. He has a company called Haven. They do accounting. Another super, super, super busy, crowded space that they have broken out on. I think they each do different things that have worked really well. Like Ayush has really figured out, and his team have really figured out like a good, like classic cold go-to-market motion. They figured out the messaging that works for them. They figured out their unique ICP that got into the Series A. I think they've all figured out kind of like the squeeze that they can do to get into kind of like their next stage of growth, which I think, again, you always look at the next 18 months. I wish I knew a bit more of what they figured out, but each one of them figured out something. There's one more person. You have Will Hubbard from Agree.com. He's like basically killing DocuSign. They figured out marketing really well, really, really, really well. I just figured out sales, looks like really well. Patrick figured out, they just have a really nice CRM. Like you just use it and you just feel a breath of fresh air from all the different CRM products I've tried. Like it's just very nice.
Did you use it? Did you use the product?
I use the product of all four of these companies.
Interesting. It's not like you're preparing for a podcast with them.
What?
It's not like you're preparing for a podcast with them, are you?
You never know. You never know. I actually am. I actually am.
So this is a little flavor of product research going into it as well.
No. So I actually organically have been using all these products, realize how much I'm appreciating founders who are going from like seed Series A to B, and really want to I couldn't find a lot of content around that. Like me as a founder, I think there's a lot of content around starting companies. I think there's a lot of general content around fundraising. I think there's a lot of general content about like larger scale, like kind of movements. But I think that like really pivotal piece from like seed Series A to Series B, I found very difficult to find any content on. So I decided I did want to start a podcast just to talk to all those founders about it. Figure out, what their litmus tests for hiring are. Just like you've asked me, I have the same question for them. Like, what is that one growth hack that had the highest leverage? Or what is that one unique product metric to them that they feel like will get them to that Series B? I think those will be really interesting conversations. But I first and foremost have respect for these founders, and we're the customers for a long time before this idea.
Hey, look, I know you've got to get back to building Querio, but last question.
Tell me.
The omakase nights. One, like when did you in your life decide to become like a sushi chef?
So for context, I host a monthly
hyper curated, like it's taking me 6 months to get in.
It's busy. People really like it. It's a very popular event. in college, I decided that I wanted to do something with my hands. And I was like, should I make candles or should I make pasta? I decided to make pasta. So I bought a pasta machine. I started cooking for like big groups of people. Then I had like a small YouTube show for a second called, what's it called? It was like College Fine Dining. I went to restaurants, asked them for their best meal, how to make it. I'd make it like college style at home. I just got really into cooking. I used to like always bring people together to cook. And then I really got sick of making pasta at some point. And then I was at Angel and I saw like a fishmonger and I walk in and I'm like, what's up with that sushi and that salmon and tuna? Like, can you make sushi out of it? He's like, yeah, it's sushi grade. So I was dating a girl at the time, went back. It's like, all right, we're going to have a sushi night. I'm going to try this out. And I was like, oh, this worked pretty well. I was like, you know what? Next dinner night, I'm not going to make pasta or like some sort of like big Lebanese dish. I'm just going to make a really intimate omakase meal. I really like Japanese food, omakase in general. And it was super popular. And then I was like, okay, let me actually make this a monthly dinner thing. And then I started inviting people from like my network and people who I thought would like it. And it went from like 100% friends to like 80 to 60 to 40 to 20. And yeah, now it's just something that's somehow a bit popular, the London texting, which is nice.
One of the things that I found is that like people are like, obviously there's, there's some of the four closest people of yours, but I also believe that you are also what you've been consuming in your life. And having got to know you over the
tuna.
Yeah, no, maybe not that, but the clinicalness required in making sushi and doing it well, I find actually comes out in the product Querio. Do you see that?
The clinicalness.
Yeah. Of how clinical the product is, i.e. it gets you your answer the right way and gives you that information quickly and helps you make the relevant decisions to move at speed.
Yes, I would agree. I think how you do one thing is how you do everything. It's a very classic saying that I strongly believe in. So I think that it's the way that you carry yourself and the actions that you do, whether it's in designing something and building it out, or whether it's serving food and trying to really like not just go for good enough, but like really putting that effort in for the details, I think, yes, represents a trait that the company shares together, and but also one that I obviously embody that carries with me and things like that. Yeah.
So in short, Rami having his like loving Japanese culture in sushi means that Querio is going to be a beast of a product.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Rami,
Absolutely.
as always, a pleasure. I'll see you at the Omakase night.
Yes, sir. I'll see you next week. Cheers.
Ciao, ciao.